Few things, like all of you are on mute. If you have any questions or if you want to speak out, you can raise your hand so that we will unmute you. This is to avoid the background noises. And the other thing is, like, you can also use the chat window to interact with us, to give any messages and all. Thank you all for confirming that you can see the screen and hear me. So before we get into the class, let me introduce myself. Thank you, Sai, Swapnil, everyone for confirming. So let me introduce myself. I'm Preeti here. I have almost 18 years of experience into IT, and I'm working in DevOps right now as a DevOps manager, handling multiple projects, CI/CD pipelines, and the strategies. I have an experience of almost 10 years into DevOps and also training people on DevOps from almost like 7 years. And I have handled corporate as well as online trainings. And the focus of the training is to help you work in your projects and also to switch your careers and clear your interviews with confidence. So that's the agenda of the course in short, in a line, right? So before we progress, so let's talk about this course, like what is it all about? This is a complete DevOps course wherein we'll be covering the real scenarios so that you will be working in your projects more confidently, right? So here we'll be learning complete DevOps tools and the strategies that will help you work in your pipelines end to end, right? Also, we can automate the complete process using the tools. Also, we need to understand the strategies, the best practices. All of this will be covered here from the basics till advanced. And this course is for everyone, whoever interested to switch to DevOps. You could be a fresher or an experienced person or a manager. This is for everyone. I have designed this with all my experience into trainings and work experience so that the topics or else the scenarios, whichever are helpful, which we use in every day, like day to day, are included in this course. That's how it is designed so that it fits everyone's needs. So if you are a fresher, yes, you are eligible for it, or a developer, or if you are a tester, or if you are a manager, you want to understand the DevOps strategies, the tools, and all. Yeah, this course is for everyone. Every topic will be dealt from basics till advanced, so that, like I said, it will help everyone. So today we'll be having an overview of what is DevOps, why it came in, why do we need it, why are we here, why should we learn it, who should learn it, and what are the prerequisite for this course, or what are the blockers, challenges with this DevOps. All of this we'll discuss today. It's a almost theoretical part today, but this is very, very important to set the expectations right, to set the base right, right? So if you have any questions, you can raise your hand at any point of time. We'll unmute you and we'll take up your queries, or you can also put them in the chat window. So I believe you're all clear with this. I'll walk you through the lab setup, through the course content, through the notes or the materials or the quiz, assignments, resumes, how to market yourself. We'll cover almost all of this content today. And whatever, we have few things like how chat GPT can help you, how AI is overcoming or challenging DevOps. All of this will be discussed tomorrow. So let's begin today. So this is the agenda for today, a high level agenda. We'll be talking about big picture of DevOps, roles and responsibilities of a DevOps engineer, DevOps delivery pipeline, tools and skill set. Like what are all the tools you should learn, what are all the skill set you should have. All of this we'll discuss today. So let's begin with understanding first what is DevOps. I definitely know there are people who are already working in DevOps who might be knowing what is DevOps. Also, there are people who want to learn it, who are completely new to it. So I will start with the basics. Any topic, this is how we'll begin so that everyone will be on the same page. We'll talk in depth. So it would be a refresher if you already know this. You can share your inputs and just a second before I get into the topic. I'm just launching a poll so that you can just give your inputs. It's a small poll with 3 questions so that we can understand you better. So, can you all see the black screen now? You can confirm in the chat window if you all can see the black screen. So let's begin. Let's begin understanding what is DevOps, why we should learn it, all of that we'll discuss, right? So what is DevOps? By seeing it, it's like very clear that it's a combination of two teams or two terms, right? Development and operations. What is a development and what is an operation? Let me just give you a very simple example. See, we are using so many applications in our daily life, right? Like it could be an online banking application or else e-commerce shopping website or a social networking application, whatever it is. Let's take an online shopping application, right? We are using this application means like end users, we are the end users who are the final users, who are the users who would be consuming this application daily, right? So we are using this means it has gone through so many process. It has like so many teams are at the back who made this application reach us, and that's how we are using it. So there were so many people, so many teams, so much of process involved at the back end. Here I'm talking about three main things. So let's talk about the main teams who work for this application, right? Like let's talk about development team. Of course, there are many people involved, but I'm talking about three teams here or highlighting three teams here: testing or QA team, and let's say operations team, right? So obviously majority might be aware of what is a development team and all. I'm just giving a quick intro for this. Development is nothing but a team of people who work for developing an application by writing a coding, right? Like they do the coding, they do the design of the application, they build the applications, right? So this is what a developers do. This is what a development team does. Testing team, they would test the application. Again, testing could be, there are different levels of testing, different types of testing. See, this is not our subject. I'm just giving you an idea of what each team does. So they'll test the application, means they'll see whether application is as per the expectations of the client or not. What the application is supposed to do, is it doing that or not? So that's what is testing, where testing team is involved. Operations, who work for deploying an application. If you are completely new to IT and if you are new to deployment, just understand it like running an application or else making sure the application is used or it's functional, right? So this is what operations team do. Of course, they should run it on some server, some infra, correct? All of this infra management would be taken care by ops teams, right? I'm just giving this in terms of layman, like in a very non-technical terms so that everyone could understand. Lakshmi Narayana, what languages we should learn? We will not learn any languages. I'll come to that part, right? So these are the three teams who work for an application and who work for developing or who work for the application reaching the end users. Of course, there are many other teams, many other people involved. I'm highlighting these people. So this is what is. And now let's say, okay, development team has to build something. Okay, they have to build the code or they have to do something here. They also need some servers, right? They need some server. Server is like your computer where they can do some tasks. They need some servers. They need some services running on those servers. Let's say if it is Java application, they need Java to be installed, or else they need some network connectivity. All of them they would need. So if anything dev team or testing team needs, right, this requirement is common for both the teams. So I just would put it as a common thing. So whatever they need, they would request the ops teams. Ops teams should serve the request of dev team or QA team, right? By providing the required infra. Like let's say, okay, development team need a new OS, right? Ops team should provide that new OS. They should provide that change requested by them. So let's say it's a change to a new operating system, or it could be a new service or whatever. So ops teams have to serve the dev team and QA team by providing the required infra for them to perform their tasks, to execute their tasks efficiently. For this thing, like for ops teams, for operations team to provide them, definitely they will take some time because they have to do a lot of checks. or validations before they do these changes to the infra. If they have to provide new OS or they have to start some service, they would do lot many things, lot many checks, because if some changes made to infra, right, it may impact the infrastructure. Means some servers may go down, some networks may be disconnected, some access may be disrupted. All of these things ops teams should verify, right? Then only they can serve it. So meanwhile, it's taking lot of time. Developers on QA team are still waiting for the request they made. They are still waiting. Okay, we need a new server, we need some new operating system so that we can test our application, or else developers can do their builds and all. So developers and QA team are still waiting for it. Ops teams are obviously taking some time, and here developers doesn't know why ops teams are taking lot of time, right? Developers are not clear why they need so much time. Similarly, ops team don't know why do developers or testers need all of these changes, right? They don't have clarity, because ops teams always looks for stability in the infra. They are responsible for managing stability of the infrastructure, right? Whereas dev team always looks for agility, because agility means changes. They need lot of changes to the infrastructure, because they have to test something, they have to test on different operating systems, right? Testers, they have to test it on not only on Windows, they have to test on Linux and different versions, different distributions, and so on. So obviously they need a change. Whereas ops teams is responsible for stability, and each team, here I'm including dev and QA into one team just for our reference, for our discussion. I will call this as dev here. Okay, for now, at the moment, I'll just refer them as dev team, right? So dev team are still waiting for changes they need. Ops teams are just making all the validations and checks. So each team doesn't understand why they are taking a lot of time. Dev team doesn't understand why ops team is taking a lot of time. Similarly, ops team doesn't understand why they would need all of these changes, right? And there arises some gap between the teams, isn't it? There arises some gap. They don't understand each other. Why do they don't understand each other? Because their core skill set, their core competencies are different. Meaning, dev team would be knowing some programming languages, right? They would be knowing some build tools, means they would have expertise on the build tools. They'll be expertise on design, maybe database schema, whatever, and all. Testers would be expertise in testing tools, like they might be doing automation testing or manual testing, whatever. They'd be very much having expertise on the levels of testing, types of testing, how the test cases should be executed and all. Ops teams would be having knowledge on deployment paths, managing the server, infra management and all. Each team, they have their own skill set, their core competencies are different, so there is no overlap, and hence they just don't understand each other. There is a gap between the teams. To achieve high productivity, to achieve efficient products, to deliver efficient products, this is not a good thing, right? Do you think having gaps between the teams is good, or would it result in a great products or great productivity? Never, right? So how to overcome the gap between the teams? Anyone? How to overcome this gap so that they can understand each other? They should know why ops team is taking so much time. Ops team should understand why developers or testers would need all of these changes always. Yes, Sai, I'm unmuting you. I see a hand raised from Sai. Yes.
Yeah, hi Preeti.
Yeah.
As a conclusion, we can say that DevOps engineer can use some build tools like Maven or Gradle. So to overcome this issue, DevOps engineer finally he can test tests and he can build by using some build tools like Maven, Gradle. Uh, there will be form.xml to write some dependencies now.
Okay, let me tell you here how to overcome the gap between the teams. We can overcome the gap between the teams by establishing proper collaboration, proper understanding, proper communication between the team. It's not that, see, here you should have a clarity. It's not that you should eliminate the gap means a DevOps person will go and go and do development, or DevOps guy will go and write test cases. No, it's not the case. Here the case is they should have proper communication, proper collaboration. Yes, DevOps teams uses build tools, but it is not usage of build tool as developers does. Developers uses build tools in a different perspective, whereas DevOps teams uses build tools in a different perspective. They don't do the coding, or else they don't build the code or configure the build tool, but they'll just run the commands for the build tool. There is a difference across them. We will elaborate on that. But here you have to understand they should communicate, they should collaborate, there should be proper understanding between them. This comes in with a proper management and proper strategy like DevOps. We'll talk about how they will collaborate and all. And yes, Mangesh, you are unmuted. You can talk. And Ajay, I have unmuted you as well.
Scrum you can use, and you
Yes.
can use Agile.
Yes, Agile solves this problem to some extent, not completely. We'll also come to that part, right? So let me talk about here. By now, you might have understood. We were discussing why DevOps came in, right? The first reason is to eliminate the gap. How to eliminate the gap? You will eliminate by establishing proper collaboration, proper communication. How do you elaborate? How do you establish this proper collaboration, communication? Also, we will talk about it. And it's not that DevOps team will do everything like development and testing. That clarity you need to have, right? Then what are the other challenges? Is that the only challenge why DevOps came in? Of course, there are other challenges. The second most important challenge is here I'm talking about without DevOps. Okay, remember I'm talking about the traditional approach. Let's say, okay, development team, testing team have developed the application and tested it, and it is ready for release. Release meaning it should reach the end users. So what they'll do without DevOps approach, they'll hand over this application to ops teams. Ops teams have to run this application or deploy this application on the server so that end users can use it. Okay, fine. Now dev team, what they are doing, they are handing over this application. They are handing over this application to ops teams. So let's suppose, for example, it could be any application. Okay, we are not bothered about whether it is a Java application or C# or PHP or Python. It could be anything. For example, let's say it's a application handed over to ops teams. Now, ops teams should be running this application. So they should know what are all the softwares required to run this application, which versions of the softwares. For example, it's a Java application. Obviously, Java should be installed and running. So which version of Java, what kind of software, like what, whether it is a JDK version or JRE version, or else which versions, all of this they should be figuring out and doing it. Dev team or QA team, along with the application, they might be providing some instruction document as well, like which versions of Java, or like what the Java versions, Java packages they should install and all. But this instruction document may be targeting Windows servers, but it might not be working on Linux, right? So ops teams have to figure it out again how
Yes,
it works on Linux.
Tenga.
Right. So, and then they should be figuring out which version. Some of them, like some of the instructions given by dev or QA team might be working. Some of them may not be working, right? So, or else some of the instructions, ops teams might not be understanding them, right? This is again because their skill set is different. The perspective how dev team, QA team looks might be different than how ops teams looked at. So, ops teams have to figure out all these challenges, right? All these challenges, and then they have to deploy the application, which would take some time. Maybe it may take some months, 3 months. Let's say they have handed over this application in January. It might be going for deployment. It might be reaching the end users in the month of May. Obviously, it is taking them some time because they have to fix all these issues. They have to see the application is running on the production server so that end users will be using it. Also, not only that, after the application is deployed, Ops teams are responsible for seeing high availability of the application. What is meant by high availability? Yes. Yes, I have unmuted you guys, whoever raised the hand.
High availability means the same application will be running off a couple of servers. So if in case any server crash in one server, the application will be running on it. There will be no downtime for that.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you see, for example, Amazon.com, did you ever see saying that application is not available, it's not reachable? Never, right? So it's always available. Application is always highly available. It's available for end users. There's no downtime. So that's how it works in reality. So they should check for high availability. Let's suppose something is broken, something went down. They should be able to bring it back within no less than a minute. It depends on, again, the SLA and all. It's a different concept. But yes, all of these things are their challenges for ops teams, right? So how to make these deployments faster? How can we accelerate the deployments, right? That's where comes the tools like automation, complete automation, right? How do we do that? Also we'll discuss. So that's where DevOps comes in. DevOps comes into picture where it can automate the complete process. How is that possible? Yes, that is possible because unlike in DevOps, like let's say without DevOps, developers are handing over the application, right? But now the way they hand over the application changed. With DevOps, the way they hand over the application changed. Now dev team or QA team is not just handing over the application. Like let's say it's a Java, you will be handing it over, whatever the artifact, the outcome will be shared. But now it is shared in the form of a container. Containerization comes in picture. Containerization is a true DevOps concept, right? We will elaborate. There's a separate chapter module dedicated for it. At this point, just understand the way the application is packed, the way it was shared completely changed. Now, this is how it's shared to DevOps team. So if the application is containerized, means application is coming along with the dependencies what it needs, like a Java or a Tomcat or a right version of Java, all of that, right? So application is containerized and shared to DevOps team. If that is the case, then they need not struggle about the underlying dependencies, which versions, or it's working on Windows, it's not on Linux, which version of Java should be installed. All of these challenges are eliminated, which makes deployments faster. But what is meant by containerization? How to do containerization? All of that will be addressed in this course. Am I making sense, everyone? That's why here the point is, let's suppose you are a developer or a tester. You still want to be a developer. Let's say you like development, you like your role. You just want to be a developer or a tester. Still, you have to learn this containerization because the way you are handing over the application has got changed. So DevOps is a methodology. It's a process. Everyone who are a part of this process should learn DevOps tools and the strategies. Am I clear? Is that making sense? So deployments for faster, that's what companies need. You could see, let's say a new feature is delivered overnight. How is that possible with the DevOps? It's not like months or days. It's just in a minute or in a two also the feature could be delivered to end users. That's how you see Amazon.com or Netflix or all the gigantic companies are implementing DevOps now. Also, the startups are implementing it to reduce the cost because it's all about automation. So we also it's 24/7 automation possible. So that's what companies need, right? 24/7 automation possible with this like with the integration of these tools like containerization and then provisioning the infrastructure with Terraform and all. We'll talk about the tools a little later. Am I clear? Any questions from anyone in this part? Good to go. Particularly anyone freshers here, is it all clear for you? You can confirm in the chat window, or else you could say yes through the Are we good to go? Thank you, Pavan Shravan, for confirming. So if you are all good, let's progress. Let's proceed. If you have any questions, do raise your hand.
Hello.
So, yes, hi.
The main theme is that the developer develops the code and send the code to the tester side.
Yes.
For in testing side, the code will not run because of version gap, any software issues. Am I right?
Yes.
For this, we are taking DevOps.
Yes, even see the whole process will be automated. I'll come to that CI/CD part in a while. Once developer is ready with the code, see here you have to underline the statements. Developers are ready with the code. DevOps team is not going to write the code. Okay, developers once they're ready with their code, from the desk of a developer till it reaches the production table, the whole process is automated. This process is where a DevOps guy comes into picture after development. And also testing team is also there. DevOps guy is not going to write the test cases. Testing team will be writing the test cases, right? They will execute the test cases. Once the test cases are ready, in this pipeline, those test cases will be executed. Test case execution also will be automated. Right. So meanwhile, this testing would be done on some servers infra. Even that will also be automatically created and configured by using DevOps tools and strategies like Terraform, Ansible, and so on. The whole process would be streamlined.
Like version control, merit this.
Version control is a Git. It's a version control tool which developers will use, even ops teams will use. Ops teams will use version control systems to store their configuration files, Kubernetes manifest files, and so on.
Yeah, okay.
We will talk about those things in detail in few minutes. We are going to get to it. What is a GitHub repository? A question from Hari. Hari will come to that part, okay? We are going step by step. We were talking about why DevOps came in. We'll come to that part. So the second reason is we need faster deployments, efficient products. That's where the second reason. Third thing is to overcome the challenges posed by the traditional methodologies. We have some traditional methodologies which has posed many challenges. So let's talk about those as well. The third reason why DevOps came in. So let's talk about third reason. So to understand this third reason, let's talk about SDLC. SDLC means Software Development Life Cycle. If anyone is new here, like a fresher or someone from a non-IT background, right, this is nothing but a process where application is developed and delivered to end users. Hari, I'll unmute you in a while, okay? Just give me a second to address your queries. I'll unmute you guys, okay? Just put it in the chat window or raise your hands. I'll unmute you in some time so that we can talk. Okay. So software development lifecycle is nothing but a process which has a sequence of activities involved. Like first, you will get the requirements from the client. So requirement gathering. Then understand the requirements, which is requirement analysis. And then the third one is design. And then coding begins here. And then testing and delivery and maintenance. See, it's not that you should learn these things. This is just to have some understanding. Okay, it means that there are different stages or steps involved in developing an application. It begins from requirement gathering, analysis, design, coding, testing, and delivery. These are called different stages in a software development lifecycle. You might have learned this in your engineering. If you are coming from non-IT background, no worries, just understand these are the different phases you have. Right? So it just goes one after the other. There are so many people involved here, like business analysts, developers, build engineers, so many people, testers and all. Many people are involved and it goes one by one phase after the other. Let's suppose it's in the coding phase. Okay, they completed 3 stages, they were in coding stage. Let's say client came with the new requirements, then client came with the new requirements. Right? How is that handled? That's not possible. It just goes in one direction. There is no possibility of going back. This is not possible. That's why this is called waterfall methodology. I'm talking about a typical methodology which served the industry for decades. But this methodology has posed challenges for both developers and ops teams. How does it pose challenges? Like I said, this methodology is not flexible, right? Like let's say you got the requirements in 2025. Complete product will be delivered, requirements would be freezed, right? Means no new requirements would be accepted. They are freezed. Complete product will be delivered all at once after 2 years. They will not accept any new requirements. They'll not accept any changes. So it's not flexible, and client doesn't need the same product after 2 years, isn't it? Today requirements changes rapidly. It's a customer facing world, right? So requirement changes very rapidly, and if it is not flexible enough to handle it, it doesn't work in reality anymore. That itself is a challenge. Also, let's say coding is completed today. It might be going for testing after 3 months, after 6 months. Meanwhile, developers will be working on new code. Then testers comes with a bugs in the old code, which developers have to fix it. This is again a challenge, a very big challenge. If testing delayed, would be very costly. So that's another challenge. Complete software will be delivered all at once after 2 years. By then, requirements might have changed completely. Client doesn't need it anymore, right? Those are some of the challenges posed by this waterfall methodology. Similarly, ops teams face challenges like they need to maintain server uptime for longer duration. See, this method is very slow, right? So obviously servers should be maintained up for longer duration. Managing servers uptime for longer duration is again a challenge. Poor management of the servers. Because here everything is manual, no proper configuration management tool and no proper monitoring, no monitoring of the infra, right? If it is a small infra, they may monitor manually. If it is huge infrastructure, what if some server is going down? What if some servers are going down, services are impacted? All of that, there should be a monitoring tool used. Nothing, no, everything is manual here. So these are all the challenges posed by waterfall methodology. This is nothing but a process, right? A methodology. So this has a lot of challenges. DevOps overcome the challenges posed by this traditional, right, or a legacy methodologies. This is these are some of the challenges. Actually, before DevOps came in, there is something else, Agile methodology. Waterfall is the first one, Agile is second one. You don't need to deep dive into it, just having an overview is good, right? Agile methodology is there. It could overcome so to certain extent. Developer challenges are overcome here, but still challenges of ops team were still there. So there comes a methodology called DevOps, which can overcome the challenges of both the teams, right? That's what is DevOps. How we will learn. But in this process, as we are talking about Agile, let us also just have a few more things about Agile. Agile could overcome challenges of our DevOps, but do you know how it can overcome challenges of developers? Yes, how can it overcome the challenges? Okay, let me just give you again a brief understanding here. Agile could overcome the challenges of developers because in Agile, let's take suppose let's say it's a week one. On week one, a chunk of code means a bit of code. So let's say a chunk, a part, a bit of code A is developed. Code complete application is not developed at once, right? On week two, this A would be tested by developers. Meanwhile, developers are not sitting idle. They are developing another bit of code B. On week 3 again, this B will be tested. Again, at some point, this A and B will be combined and tested, right? Then only it makes a complete product. Means if you see every week, both the testing and development are happening. Means testing, development are happening parallelly, iteratively. It's not that after complete development, after 6 months, testing begins. It's happening continuously. iteratively or parallelly, whatever you call it, right? And also, whenever a new change is made, that would be integrated into the system and then tested. That's what is continuous integration. See, this is called continuous integration. Every new bit of code developed by developers will be tested, and again it will be merged into the entire system and tested, right? So this is called actually continuous development. Developers keep writing the code, testers keep generating their test cases. It would be all integrated and tested. Because it uses continuous integration, continuous development, continuous integration, and continuous testing, it could overcome the challenge of developers, right? Because code is always stable and ready for release. Code is delivered to client every 15 days, not that after 2 years. So if any modifications requirements are there, it could adopt it in the next cycle, right? So also bug fixing became faster. It's not that the code developed now will be tested after 6 months. It would be immediately tested, right? Understood? So yeah, because of this, it could overcome challenges. Main point is it implements this concept. But deployment is again manual. That's where it is not helpful for the operations. But we will talk about these things elaboratively. We have separate chapters dedicated for this. Here I'm just giving you an overview. So SDLC waterfall methodology have lot of challenges. Agile sorted it to certain extent but could not sort the issues completely. There came DevOps, which can be helpful to overcome all the traditional, means all the challenges posed by traditional methodologies. These are the reasons why DevOps came in. Are we clear about why DevOps came in? Any questions from anyone in this topic till this part? About the lab, about the syllabus, about GitHub, there were questions. I'll take them up to the context. Okay, there is a hand raise from Saideshwar. Yes.
That agile and the waterfall methods are it is a project management subject, but the DevOps is the coding subject, right? How you can relate with them?
These are all methodologies, okay, a process. It's not a coding subject or it's not a Agile is a project management thing, okay? These are all process methodologies. See, remember, DevOps is not a tool. DevOps is not a technology, or DevOps is not something, a scripting or a programming language or coding. DevOps is a methodology. Again, if you have a question, what is a methodology? DevOps is a process, right? It's a process of complete automation without manual intervention, which can be able to automate 24/7 faster, where features can reach the end users in minutes. That's what is all DevOps about.
So
It's not
can
generally when we talk about DevOps, people think, okay, so many tools are in DevOps. This is just learn all the tools. That's a DevOps. DevOps is more about the process and the strategy. Which kind of strategy you are implementing in the project, in your achieving or delivering your applications to end users. That's where DevOps come in. And the whole process of automation is the CI/CD pipelines, where we'll be working on them end to end.
So can we say DevOps is the advanced of agile and waterfall?
Correct. Correct. Yes, that's what is DevOps.
Okay, thank you.
Right. Let me just elaborate here. What is DevOps? Now that we understood, okay, what are the challenges we have and all. Now let's talk about what is DevOps. From the desk of a developer, okay, till it reaches the production table. From the desk of a developer till it reaches production table means reaches the end users like us. Okay, we are using Amazon.com. We are using Netflix. How it reaches end users. This complete process is automated. Developer will be writing the code. He will share the code with us, right? And then testers will write the test cases. They'll share the test case. How do you take it to production with a complete automation is called DevOps. This is the process or the strategy where we take the application to end users with a complete automation 24/7 without manual intervention. This is what is DevOps. And why do companies, why everyone is getting into it? By now, all the gigantic companies are already using it, and everyone in couple of years will be moving into it. And also, like I just mentioned, even though you are not working in this part, let's say you are a developer, you're working in this part, or you are a tester, still you need to know DevOps, because you should know how your pipelines are automated. And the use cases, strategies for like how teams are built. How would be a DevOps team functioning, right? How would be a DevOps support team functioning? How would be different teams working with the DevOps team? How are development team, QA team communicating with the DevOps team? All of that we will discuss, like the real situations in the projects. We'll discuss this tomorrow, right? Like how the teams work, how could be, what are the different ways teams function and all we'll discuss. But now, yes, we were talking about DevOps. This complete process of automation is DevOps. And also, we have a question from Saidishwar, we can compare it, right? Let's say compare it with SDLC, compare it with SDLC, Agile, and then DevOps. In SDLC, you have development. After development, testing begins, right? After testing, there will be deployment. And then monitor the application, like whether it is up and running or not, monitor the servers and all. It's happening one after the other. But in Agile, continuous development means development team testing are happening parallelly, iteratively. Teams work together parallelly. And then every change made would be integrated into the system, continuous integration. But again, deployment is after that, and then monitoring being manual, right? Just a second. So this is what is Agile. But now with the DevOps, continuous development, continuous testing, continuous integration, along with the continuous deployment and continuous monitoring is DevOps. Right? Everything is automated. How is it automated? Like if everything is automated, where do we fit in? I will talk about all of these things in detail. But this is what is DevOps, which is leading the market now. This is the buzzword in the market, and this is the methodology everyone is shifting into. Let's suppose you are a developer, but still you should know this process. Why? One of the reasons I have explained. There are many other use cases and reasons. We'll talk about those use cases in the next class, or else if time permits, we'll talk today, right? So whoever want to work in this process of automation is a DevOps engineer, irrespective of your background. You might be a developer, tester, you might be a build engineer, you might be a database admin, you might be working as an admin, a Windows admin or a Linux admin, or you might be coming from mainframe background, or you might be a fresher, you might be a non-IT guy. If you know this process of automation, you are fit into DevOps. And again, there were questions particularly, I am a fresher, can I apply for DevOps? Why not? Every team will have different experienced people. Like if you are a developer, you have a senior developer, juniors, freshers. Am I correct? Same is the case for testing team. Same is the case with admin team. Same is the case with the DevOps as well. There is a team of DevOps, let's say a 6-member team, let's suppose, right? There could be seniors will be there, lead manager will be there, seniors will be there, freshers will be there to assist them. So there is scope for everyone. And you can check this in your Naukri job portals where there are openings for freshers, seniors, and everyone. Managers, obviously, let's suppose you are a manager, you are people manager, or else you are not a technical manager, but still gaining this kind of knowledge to guide the team about the right strategy, about the right process will be an added value for you in the project. So a technical strength for a manager would be always a great thing, which we see in our daily life. So I believe now you understand what is DevOps, right? Let me also differentiate with respect to teams. In SDLC, in software development lifecycle, you have separate teams, dev team, QA team, ops teams. They are working in silos, in separation, each one working irrespective, understanding others and all, right? So there is no proper understanding, no proper collaboration. Agile also you have different teams. In every methodology, you have still different teams. So there is some misunderstanding that DevOps means a DevOps person will be writing code, he will be testing, he'll be doing everything. No. Still there are teams in Agile also, but because development or testing are happening iteratively, continuously, parallelly, right? Every day they'll develop something, they'll ask tester to test it. They were brought together, right? These two teams were brought together with a proper understanding, proper collaboration. That's why we were just calling them as dev team, right? Just we are referring, this is just for reference. We refer them as dev team. And there is no challenges, there is no gap, because They communicate regularly. They understand what testers do. Testers understand what developers do. What are the challenges? It doesn't mean that tester will go and write the code and vice versa. Am I clear here? Right? So, but still ops team was left in isolation here because it's just after integration, this comes in, ops team is left in isolation. Then in DevOps, even these two were brought. These two means already QA and Dev became one. Then ops team also got proper collaboration, proper communication with them, which is DevOps. Means DevOps team means it's a separate operations team, right? So in reality, you will have dev team, QA team, and DevOps team. Each one will perform their roles because it's continuous, it's happening iteratively, continuously. They understand each other better. There is no gap. They know why developers are requesting these changes. QA team know when developers will be sharing them their application for testing. DevOps team know how to provide their infrastructure through automation, through Terraform, how to configure the infrastructure with Ansible, how to deploy the containerized apps, right? But proper collaboration, proper understanding. The important thing is DevOps teams communicate with other teams very regularly, very often. There should be a good communication between the teams. We regularly interact with them. This is the DevOps, and that's how it eliminates the gap between them. First discussion, what we did, like why DevOps, why gap between them, how to eliminate the gap. This is the answer. Am I clear? Are you all clear with what is DevOps? You can use the emojis to let us know if you are clear. You can use the emojis, thumbs up and all if you are clear, or use the chat window so that we understand. If you have any questions, raise the hand. I can unmute you. Okay, Ramu, I have unmuted you. You can go on if you have a question. Thank you, Devi, Mukesh, Guru, Shravan, everyone for confirming. Okay, Ramu has a question. Is it advisable to have both AWS and Azure DevOps? I'll come to that question in a few minutes, very soon, Ramu. I'll answer your question. And understand DevOps is a methodology. It's a process. It's not just a script or a tool or a something. Okay, it's a methodology, it's a process, and it's a continuous journey of implementation and implementation. It's not that DevOps can be implemented in an overnight. It's a cultural change. People should communicate well. People should understand well, and there will be always continuous improvement here. So this pipeline, I mean, from developer desk till it reaches production, this automation process is there, right? This is called CI/CD pipeline, right? How to use the tools. It's not just because it's DevOps, use all the tools, or just because it's a DevOps, use all the strategies. No. A DevOps person should wisely choose the tool, where to use the tool, how to use the tool, where sometimes rather than a tool, it could be automated well, right? You without using a tool. So all of that we'll talk about it. Right? So this is what is CI/CD, and like what are all the tools comes in and all we'll discuss. So we say sometimes, okay, we hear that, okay, DevOps, this project is migrated to DevOps, but it's not something which you achieve in an overnight. Like I said, it's a continuous process. And to build the CI/CD pipeline from the scratch, right? Let's say from the scratch, if you are building it, it may need many people, like 8 people or so might be working on it. Once this is designed and once it is created, 24/7 automation would be implemented, and you just need few people to work on it. But the skilled people would be there to work on this project, or make modifications. After building the project, there might be chance to include different stages, modify the pipelines for betterment, we can automate, but there'll be always continuous improvement. There'll be scope for improvement always. How can we automate it better and all, right? So now the whole process is going to be automated. The skilled people will survive in the market in the coming years. So it's a right time to invest your effort and time and learn such tools which have a great demand in the market.
Ma'am, I have a question.
Yes, please.
So, as I said, DevOps is a methodology. So if anyone asks for, do you know the project management methodology, then I can say yes.
Project management methodology, yes.
So suppose Agile is a methodology
Mm,
that we use in the project management, right? At the same thing, in the DevOps also is a methodology, as I said.
yes.
Then I can say if anyone asks for the interview, do you know any methodologies? Then I
Yes,
can say no, DevOps is, I can explain the DevOps.
yes, you can.
Okay.
Right? And yes, please. Do you have any other question? Are you asking something else?
No, ma'am. That
Okay.
is.
Right. So till now, whatever we discussed is all documented here. This is the presentation. What are all the things we were discussing? These presentations will be shared for you for reference after the class. Like what is DevOps, the comparison with the other methodologies which we did, everything is documented here. Now, the roles and responsibilities of a DevOps engineer are huge. Okay, you will be really understanding them when we start the use cases and the hands-on. But let me give you a very brief here. Yes, the CI/CD pipeline is there, right? You would be working on this CI/CD pipeline and you will be responsible for any stage here. It could be building that particular stage, means creating those stages, creating that pipeline, or it could be modifying that pipeline, or if broken pipelines, fixing them. All of them are the responsibilities from the perspective of CI/CD. There is another perspective, which is nothing but like there are tools like Kubernetes, Docker, Terraform, which are the key tools for DevOps. You might be working on Kubernetes platform to deploy the applications or configuring the servers or provisioning the infrastructure. All of them would be also the responsibilities, right? Unless you understand those tools, what they does, you cannot understand the exact roles. But here I have given a brief in daily, like once we start our hands-on will be started from tomorrow, you will get to have a better understanding on the exact roles, right? We'll be revisiting this topic again tomorrow. Of course, every day when we are talking about those use cases, we'll be learning about them. So what are the skills and tools a DevOps person should know? See, here are the brief list of the tools. The detailed course content is there on our website. This is the brief content, like version control systems like Git, build automation tools like Maven, continuous integration tool Jenkins, containerization tool Docker, infrastructure as a code tool Ansible and Terraform, container orchestrator Kubernetes Docker Swarm, continuous monitoring tools Prometheus and Grafana, cloud computing AWS and all. If you just observe here, these are the different stages, okay, in your pipeline. These are the different stages. To implement every stage, we have tools under the category. And there are many tools under this category, right? Like if you talk about version control system, there are many tools like a Git, SVN, TFS, and so on. Similarly, you have Maven, Gradle, Ant, and so on. So meaning under every category, there are huge list of tools. Here we are learning the more widely used tools. More widely used tools in the market means more job perspectives for you, right? Also, master one tool under each category. That should be your learning strategy. Mastering one tool under each category is more than enough. That's what companies are looking for. When we sit in the interview panel, we look for people if they know some version control system. Any version control system is fine. Because if you know one version control system, it's expected that you can switch and work with other tools very easily because they follow the same concepts and same analogy. So the strategy should be master one tool under each category. That's a strategy in designing the course as well, right? So master Git, Maven, Jenkins, Docker, you can also check how widely they are used. And again, same is the case with the cloud, right? Learning cloud alone will not be helpful. You should learn DevOps. You should implement DevOps on some cloud. That adds weightage for you. So which cloud again? Again, like I told you, companies are not looking for they should know a particular cloud. Rather, they are looking for they know some cloud, any cloud, right? The expectation is if you know one cloud, you would be working with any other cloud because Tools are emerging daily in the market. New tools are coming up. We should be able to pick up the tools and get started. Of course, there are some tools which don't have a competitors, like Kubernetes, no other competitor. Docker, no other competitor. Of course, Jenkins is also widely used. Again, Prometheus. There are many tools which are the market leaders, no other competitors. But some tools like Git, other tools are there. But again, still Git is widely used. So same is the case with the cloud. AWS is very widely used. There are other tools also like Azure and all, but DevOps strategy, DevOps concepts, DevOps methodology, DevOps pipelines, how do you create, what are the best practices, how do you automate 24/7? These doesn't change, right? So this course focuses on learning DevOps. After learning this course, you would be eligible or you would be comfortable implementing this DevOps irrespective of the platform. It's a methodology. It could be on-prem, it could be on any cloud. So you would be comfortable working on DevOps on any platform. Here in this course, we'll be covering DevOps like irrespective of the platform. Means I will be covering this course in such a way that after learning it, you could apply it on any platform. Also, as an example, I'm covering it on AWS so that you will also have an example on cloud implementation. And it's not a way different how it goes on Azure and all. So this is the brief list of the topics. There are many other topics which are not mentioned here, particularly GitOps principles, which is Argo CD. Argo CD will be covered. EKS will be covered. The key tool for DevOps, right? As a Kubernetes certified and experienced professional, I would say EKS is the best tool if you want to gain demand in the market. If you want to get value added to your resume, EKS, Kubernetes are the ones I would suggest, and then Terraform. So those are again the recommendations, what you should go ahead and all. That will be a separate story. We can help you building your custom resumes and guiding you with what tools you should master and all. We have Raj as well, the counselor for this course, who can guide you best on this. But that's again a different part. This is about the tools. And there is one more thing, like for DevOps, we'll be implementing this on Linux platforms. Again, it's irrespective of the platform. On Windows also you can. Certain tools can be installed only on Linux. So Linux basics will be covered, whichever needed for DevOps. So if you are completely newbie also, you don't need to worry. Everything, like I said, from basics till advanced will be covered. The sessions will be power packed, tightly packed with the complete content, right? So yes, the basics of Linux, whatever we need, everything will be taken care by. So any questions in this part from anyone? Lokesh, I think I answered your question. And Hemu Kumar, all of this about AWS or AWS DevOps, I answered your question, I believe. If not, let me know. One scripting language is also needed, right? And Python and Linux also needed, right? As per roadmap, says Chandravamshi. I'm not sure which roadmap you have checked on, Chandravamshi. Like I am working in DevOps for almost more than 8 to 9 years. I haven't used Python anywhere. So the understanding is that Python should be known. Python is a mandatory. Python is required for DevOps. There are hundreds, thousands of projects which doesn't use Python or any scripting language, right? It's a good to have. If any projects are using it, it's a good to have, but it's not mandatory, right? If you want to learn, see, there are different job descriptions. Let me explain you here. Are you all listening? I don't see a chart coming on, rolling on. Oh, yeah. Okay. It's enabled now. I'm audible, right? Okay. So let me tell you, there are different JDs, job descriptions, okay, for DevOps. Let's suppose you have a job description for DevOps, which is looking for, okay, Docker, Kubernetes, and the CI/CD pipelines, right? There is another DevOps job description, right? I think you all seeing the screen, right? Is it legible? Maybe let me change the color. Okay, there is another job description. Let's say this needs, okay, CI/CD pipeline, but in depth of shell scripting, right? This could be also the job description, but this is very less. In depth of shell scripting, if you see, means this is not for you. Okay, this is not actual DevOps role. They are still using shell scripting to automate certain tasks of DevOps, right? So let's suppose, okay, you want to get into this. Then you have to learn shell scripting separately. Shell scripting course would be separate for 3 months and all. Dedicate your time and learn it. But this is what is our job, is our course is for, and this is what you should focus. You may be asking it, then why not we are teaching shell scripting? Shell scripting, learning shell scripting, is it worth than learning Kubernetes? Which one you should pick up? Just check on, open your Naukri and search jobs for Kubernetes. Search the job trends, job salaries, salary trends for Kubernetes, Docker, and then compare the salary trends with shell scripting. So would you spend your 3 months to learn shell scripting completely dedicated to become a DevOps engineer? Or else would you spend these 3 months learning Docker, Kubernetes and become a DevOps expert or Kubernetes expert? Compare the salary trends here. Which one is worth it? Do you think it's worth learning shell scripting by spending 3 months and get a job which doesn't have future or which doesn't have those pay scales? Am I making sense? Can I get a confirmation if you got the point? Thank you, Vamsi, for confirming. And Sai says definitely, obviously, Docker and Kubernetes. So there will be thousands of job descriptions. Every job description wouldn't suit everyone. You should choose, you should pick up which job description is for you, right? You should choose which job description is for you and which is worth spending some time. When you spend some time, it should worth it, right? Yes, Hari, I'm trying to unmute you. Just a second. Yes, you are unmuted. So that's how you should pick up the job description. Some job descriptions will say Python. Some job descriptions may say Java with DevOps. That doesn't make any sense, and those are not for us. If you want to learn Java, think about the future. Do you want to learn Java? Like some projects, maybe the developer is creating the pipelines there. So that's not for us.
Scripting is not important or not?
It's not important. That's what I told you, right? Here, two types of job descriptions. Scripting or shell scripting or Python scripting are not mandatory. They are good to have skills. There are still jobs, there are still JDs where you see there a job, they are good to have skills, but not mandatory skills. I'll be teaching both, Manoj. Docker and Kubernetes are separate tools, but there's a lot of like dependency. Like you should understand Docker thoroughly to work comfortably on Kubernetes. So both of them will be covered. And also automating them, integrating them in the CI/CD pipelines will be covered. All the real scenarios will be on Kubernetes will be the focus, like EKS cluster creation, auto scaling on EKS, all of these things, and deploying on EKS cluster with Argo CD using GitOps principles. All of these will be covered, which are real worth learning it, so that you should have an edge over others and your resume should have weightage, and same is the case with your blueprints, packages.
Which cloud you prefer, madam?
We are covering AWS. If you know if doing this or implementing DevOps on AWS, same is the case with other clouds. Like I said, right, interviewers are not looking for people who know a particular cloud. If you know any cloud, if you have good expertise on it, if you know implementation of DevOps on one cloud, that's good to go for them. Because like I said, right, they're emerging. New clouds, new tools are coming up. If you can't just stick up with some cloud. So people should be flexible and they should be able to apply this skill set given any cloud or any platform. Yes, Anshu, you are unmuted. Please go on.
Hello?
Yes.
Madam, developer write a code and tester is testing the developer, but DevOps team what do, madam?
See, developer is writing the code, they are ready with their code, right? Testers are ready with their test case. DevOps team will create a pipeline, means imagine a pipeline, an automation process. Once code is ready, the code should be built actually. It's not code will be directly running, right? You have to build it, you have to test it, you have to run some analysis on the code. All of this process will be automated. This process of automation will be done by DevOps. For this process of automation, you don't need to do coding or you don't need to write the test cases. Coding developers will give you the code, testers will give you the test cases. So the code should be built via the pipeline, test cases should be executed via the pipeline, and then that should be integrated and deployed on deploy servers. All of this process is what DevOps teams do. Not only that, okay, you are deploying it. Those servers also should be created, right? Creating those servers will also be automated, which DevOps teams will do. Anshu, you are unmuted. You can speak out.
Yeah, hi Preeti.
Hi.
Good. Preeti, do you also prepare candidates for interview, like conducting mock interviews or providing interview?
Yes, once like it's a individual choice. If any student is ready with their resume, I mean, if they are ready to market themselves, yes, we are helping them with the mock interviews as well. And there is a question from Manoj, will there be by any task given for us related to the course? Of course, yes. Yes, I'll be walking you through those labs and assignments. Please keep muted, everyone. Unless you are having question, please keep muted. AWS services covered. Sure, Shiva, I'll go through them. Which coding knowledge is better to have for DevOps? Bharat, till now I explained we don't need any coding language for DevOps. I have just explained with the different job descriptions and all. Even that scripting is not coding. We don't need any coding. And before I go into it, I'll just give you one more thing. Before I go on for the next part of showing you the CI/CD pipeline, I'm going to show you the CI/CD pipeline. Please stay back, everyone. Right? So this is our website, preetidevops.com. If you come here and like once you register for the course, right, you will get access to this portal, the LMS, Learning Management System. Let's suppose this is for today, it's for 4 days, the demo class. And then here, if you just go to this portal, right, all the recordings, everyday class recording will be provided here. Let's suppose this is the one. And beneath the video, just a second. As it is not yet started, videos are not posted here. But anyhow, here the point is I want to show you the assignments for every day. Every day you will be having the class assignments link here. This is the one. Okay, so see here, lab exercises, quiz, interview questions for the particular day. It's Git 1, right? Git day 1. Once we start Git tool, let's suppose, like we have the recording posted here. Beneath that, you will see the exercises, quiz, or interview questions, right? So if you just click on this, you will be navigated to the assignments you have to do on that particular day. Complete lab guidance is given here, including the scenarios. This is first to install Git, and then how do you create a Git project? How do you version control Git? Everything is given here for your hands-on, right? Not only that, quiz to validate your understanding. Every day after the session, you have to complete this lab assignments, the quiz, and the interview questions. These interview questions are not just dumped from the internet. These are created by me. I have created with my experience as an interviewer, as I sit in the interview panel. Also, the interview questions collected from our students, whoever attended the different interviews from different companies. These are the interview questions. Again, interview questions based on the experience. That's how we categorize. I spent some ample time customizing these content for the students, which help them. I have very good feedback. There are people with multiple offers in the hand who cleared their interviews and got the jobs into DevOps. Yes, we'll help in creating a resume. Tailor-made resumes, custom resumes will help creating them. Shravan, I'll take up your question. Okay, I'll just take up your question in a while. If I did not, please remind me. This is very important question. I would like to answer this. But just let me complete this. So beginners questions and intermediate questions, right? Like different level scenario-based questions, depending on to which experience level you are applying for. Everything is there day to day, day by day, like depending on the particular topic, all the interview questions. The whole thing is, let's suppose today we cover a topic. on that day, the interview questions, the quiz relevant to the particular day will be sorted out. So that's how it's designed. That's how after by 2 months of completing the course, if you complete these exercises and quiz, you are ready to market yourself, ready to push your resume to the job portals. That's how it's well designed. Because it's all streamlined and designed, it's possible within this short duration. With our all experience, what are the struggles we face, what are the challenges we face during the interviews, or personal experience, and also we see the students, what are the struggles, challenges they made, and how long it's taking for them. So with all that, curated content is prepared here so that students should gain benefit and avail the benefits in less time. That's the agenda of this course. It's not just give the content and complete the content and go on. Till you get into the job, till you are like achieve your goal of switching your career into DevOps, you're irrespective of your background, we will be there till the end. And this is all the curated content. You can see how, with how much passion we have developed all of this content. Everything is streamlined. This took some years for us to streamline all the content, collecting the content, the exact material you need. Right, here are the interview questions irrespective of the day. If you, let's say you have an interview scheduled tomorrow or in 2 days, you just want to go and learn all of the interview questions at once. Yes, it is all here. Right, again, you can go day wise. Let's say you go to Docker, all the interview questions again for every tool the same: beginner, intermediate, advanced, scenario based, so that you can quickly go through them as a revision before your day of interview. Right, you can subscribe to your LMS. You have to go to this website and subscribe here. Yes, this website you will have lifetime access. As I keep on updating the interview questions, all of them you will receive. All the updates everyone will receive. This is lifetime access you will have. Also the blogs we have added, we will be keep on adding lot of those content here. All of that will be available with this LMS access. All the recordings will be posted here. All the interview questions, everything, the links. Am I clear with this LMS now? Anyone, any questions about the sample resumes? Of course, using this, you can prepare your own resumes, or if you need help building tailor-made resumes, we are there for you. Right? Any questions about this LMS? Okay, then coming to yes.
Have you posted any sample resumes in this site?
Yes, just now I have shown you, right? Here are the sample resumes. Right? Here are the sample resumes. You can download them, but still if you need our help to prepare your custom made, depending on your experience, your job profile, you can reach out to us. You can just ping Raj directly. He can help you out with that. Right? LMS portal link is shared. Raj have shared that. You guys all can access to it and subscribe to it, please. And now coming to the course content, some of you are talking about the course content, detailed course content, and the topics we have here, right? Of course, this is not, again, brief, I would say. More scenarios, more concepts which you have highlighted here will be covered. We haven't focused on adding the content and making it huge. That's not our intention. Rather, we were focusing on making the custom, making the course content better. This is our focus, and this is what we are focusing. But like I said, it's a lot of things which are not mentioned here. But here it is. And AWS services, whichever we are covering are EKS, the paid service also I'm covering, which is really the the star topic, I would say, out of this course. Okay, and then Terraform, right? Ansible. And coming to the AWS services, yes, IAM service, VPC, EC2, S3, load balancer and auto scaling services, ECR, ECS, EKS, and also there are a few more like AWS code pipeline, code commit, code build, code deploy. All of them will be covered. It will take some time to cover these topics so that you could use it in your project. That's the main intent. Just covering the topic, we can just go ahead. Right? We will also integrate the topics which you see in your projects. Hope I also answered the questions regarding the syllabus. If you still have anything, you could just let me know, ping me on the chat or raise your hand. And now I would like to take few questions. A question what I read is, please listen here. I'll come to the chat window. The question is, when we can do something with shell scripting, why are we using Kubernetes and Docker? See, shell scripting is no way a comparison to Kubernetes and Docker. They are totally different. You cannot achieve those things with shell scripting. Kubernetes is a completely far advanced and extensively used tool, right? You cannot do what Kubernetes does with shell scripting. Not at all. No way a comparison. It's a far advanced and a very widely used, advanced and extensively used tool in the real world. Having expertise in Kubernetes will help you stand out of the crowd. Right? You can just check in any job portals about the Kubernetes, the salary trends. You can discuss with your colleagues in your teams about Kubernetes. This is no way comparing with shell scripting. You cannot achieve any of the things which Kubernetes achieves with shell scripting. Kubernetes is for providing high availability for your containers, load balancing of your containers across the cluster. It will help you rolling updates, rollbacks. It will help you auto scaling for high availability. Again, in auto scaling, you have horizontal pod auto scaling and vertical pod auto scaling. First of all, what is a pod? All of that. Totally two different things. We shouldn't compare them at all. Right? This is one thing. And another question is, um, if I miss any questions in the chat, please put them again. Don't hesitate to put them again. Because as the chart is scrolling up, I might be missing some. Okay, there is another question from Shravan. As there are so many tools involved, hope this will be a big task to learn handle these all tools. And how do you guide us to make a handle on real time? Shravan, like if you want to get into DevOps, right? And if you want to have a stand out of the crowd, have a demand for your resume and all, my suggestion is master Docker, Kubernetes, and Terraform. But let's say you are looking for job description where you see Ansible and Terraform. Yes, definitely learn Ansible. See, there are different strategies. One is learn according to the job description if you are applying for, or else you might be moving for internal job, right? IJPs, internal job postings. There's a project which is using Ansible. Accordingly, learn the tools. This is one strategy according to the job description or according to your internal project switching if you want. That's one strategy. Learn those tools. Another strategy, you are completely from different thing. You just want to apply for DevOps jobs. So how do you get a job? Which tools to learn? Then Docker, Kubernetes, Terraform is my suggestion. This will make you stand out of the crowd. Hope I'm clear with my answer. I don't remember who asked this. Shravan. Am I clear, Shravan? If you don't have any.
Everything is clear, madam.
Yep. So if you are looking for, if your target is to move some project in your company, then understand what they need and learn those tools, those DevOps tools. That's one strategy. Another one is, let's say you see some job description and you want to focus on that. Like, let's say you saw something where Prometheus is used. Yes, learn according to that. Or else you just want to first master it and then apply for the job so that you have more openings and all. These are the three tools you should focus. Right? If you learn Kubernetes, if you master Kubernetes, definitely you will have a future for coming years, for more than 10 years as well, I would say. Of course, Docker, Kubernetes, Terraform is also having very good demand. Other tools, Jenkins, mandatory. This is everyone should learn it, right? This is also having good demand. Certain tools, configuration management for server configurations, right? And then Git, obviously, these are like tools which everyone should know. Particularly, Git is a tool which everyone should learn. Why and all we will discuss tomorrow. Git, Jenkins, everyone should learn. If you are looking for some jobs into server configurations, automations, you are coming from admin background, you can go for it. Of course, admin background, guys, Kubernetes is also the best one, even Terraform. But this is the order of priority. First, Docker, Kubernetes, Terraform. Then Jenkins, Ansible, Git. Right? Okay, there is one more question from, okay, it's scrolling away, the chart. Okay, about live project to add in a resume. Chandravamsi, about how to add it in your resume, you can reach out to us. If you're already into some projects, if you're already an experienced person, how to add it will help you with. And we'll be covering the real scenarios on multiple applications. Those scenarios you could integrate into your current projects and add it. How and all will help you with that. And Sharat's question is, we are not using any scripting language to automate we use only tools. Yes, Sharat, we can use the tools to automate the things. Once tools came in, shell scripting became obsolete. It's an old methodology. But still some projects are using shell script. They'll be migrated to these tools. Shell scripting should not be preferred. Shell scriptings have become obsolete. Why and all also I will show you as we go by in the due course. Docker, Kubernetes, Terraform has GUI, right? Says Rishi. GUI will not be there, Rishi. GUI will not be used. You will be writing Kubernetes manifest files, Docker commands, Kubernetes commands, Terraform commands, and configuration files. There'll be templates which you can modify and use it.
This is Sadesh.
Yes, please.
Do you teach any projects, live projects on this course?
I'll be teaching live scenarios on multiple applications, a monolithic application and a microservice application. All the real scenarios will be covered. Yes.
Okay, not the project.
What is meant by project? What do you mean by project?
Project means example, if you have any real-time project.
See, DevOps engineers, project means CI/CD pipelines, okay, or doing deployments with Kubernetes. Your project could be, if you are talking like a developer, developers will have Java project, C# project, Python project and all. As a DevOps engineer, you will have CI/CD pipelines, you have infrastructure provisioning, you have Terraform provisioning. This sequence will be covered. Yes, the flow will be covered as a project. Like let's say, okay, you are a DevOps person. You are asked to create the infra. So how do you create the infra with the Terraform, with a real way? How do you do it? Those things will be covered. Will that have something like from, if you are thinking from DevOps developer perspective, like developers will have a Java project with the backend as a database, right? They will develop it, they'll connect it. That kind of project will not be there. Yes, developers will give us that Java database project. You will build a CI/CD pipeline for that project. Yes, that will be covered. So I just want to correct here. What do you mean by project? So project here for DevOps perspective is building the CI/CD pipeline. Project is irrespective. It could be Java project, .NET project, Perl or Python. Your focus is how do you create CI/CD pipeline for it? How do you deploy it with Kubernetes for high availability? How do you containerize it with Kubernetes, with the Docker? All of them will be covered. And as an example, we'll be covering a monolithic application with all these real use cases, and also we'll be covering a microservice application for Dockers and Kubernetes. We'll be building the complete CI/CD pipeline from the scratch. Just give me a minute to walk you through the pipeline as well. Just a second before I take up the questions. So this is the CI/CD pipeline, right? This CI/CD pipeline will take some time to build. We will be, first our focus is from tomorrow we'll be learning Git. First we will learn Git, master it thoroughly, understand it thoroughly, right? Then come back and integrate it in the pipeline. Then we will we'll dissect this pipeline, zoom into each part, master it, then come back, add it into the pipeline. It's not just learn the tool, move on. Learn the tool, come back and add it to the pipeline. Then testing means we'll not write the test cases. Like I already told you, you will be having some test case given by testers. Yes, we have some real test cases. We will automate their execution here. Similarly, we have some code given by developers. We'll build it with some build automation tool. Then containerize that application, right? Create the infrastructure with a Terraform and then deploy it on Kubernetes for high availability. Then learn Prometheus, add it to the pipeline. So this pipeline creation from the scratch will be done on 2 applications, which is nothing but a project, right? So we'll be doing this pipeline to, of course, there were like more than 15 pipelines will be created. But my point is, like, let's say you have a monolithic application. On this, we will build those pipelines, right, from the scratch till the end with implementing different strategies. Similarly, we'll build the pipeline on a microservice application from the scratch. It would take 2 months to build it. Is that making sense? Like, okay, application is ready for build. What do we do in reality, right? Let's say create the infrastructure with the Terraform, then configure it with Ansible. Then how do we put that in the pipeline? All of these real scenarios, the complete project execute project for us means the CI/CD pipelines will be covered. And also, like I said, the tools will be covered separately. We'll expert master them, come back and integrate them in the pipeline. That's how we will learn those tools and implement them.
Okay, got it, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes, Sharath will not use any scripting language to create the pipeline. Why do we need a scripting language to create the pipeline? We have Jenkins. We'll be using pipeline as a code concept where the Jenkins file will create the pipeline. But that's not scripting what you are referring to. And the DevOps team is one, or it will be separated like DevOps admin team and DevOps dev team. Okay, Guru, we will not call them as DevOps dev team and DevOps admin team. DevOps dev team is nothing but who will create this pipeline from the scratch. DevOps support team could be someone, if something is broken in these pipelines, they will fix it. That's a DevOps support team. So those kind of things. The DevOps dev team doesn't mean that they are writing coding. Who will create these things from the scratch. Devi, about the fee and all, you can contact this number on the website. You can reach out to this number on the website. You can WhatsApp him, Mr. Raj, about the fee details for the course. There is no certification for DevOps. You have to do certification on individual tools, right? Like you have to do certification on individual tools like Kubernetes, Terraform, Docker and all. And the certifications provided by third-party vendors will only be valid. No one else can give those certificates. Of course, like people does that, or institutors offers those certifications, but companies would look for certifications and they'll be valid getting a certification from a trusted vendor or the owner of the product. Like Kubernetes certification you should get from CNCF or Cloud Computing Foundation. Monday to Friday will be the classes. Every day 7:30 to 9. It's a 1.5 hour course. Every day 7:30 to 9 will be the class timings. And if anyone is interested for certifications, we are there to help you, guide you on how to get through those certifications. Experience, your expertise matters than certification. It will be 60-hour course, Devi. So every day 1.5 hour means it would be like 45 sessions. Monday to Friday, correct? So this is the pipeline we'll be building. We'll be creating this pipeline irrespective of the platform. Means we'll create the pipeline whether it is in a way so that it could be implemented on-prem or on cloud. As an example of cloud, we are also covering it on AWS. Class recordings will be provided, Manoj. If you miss the class recordings will be provided. Like I have shown you, right, this LMS is where all the class recordings will be posted. This is the LMS, which you'll be having access and where all the class recordings will be posted.
Ma'am, once we pay the fees, we'll get the access, right? This website?
Right. Yes, this portal, this LMS will be shared access once you are registered for the course.
So this access is lifetime, as you said?
Lifetime access. Yes, this is for lifetime access. And all the updates we make, the regular updates will be shared. Like whenever we have some new topic or new interview questions added, all of that, you will be receiving all those updates.
Madam, Linux also, yes, madam.
Linux also?
Are you teach Linux also, ma'am?
Yes, Linux will be covered. Linux will be covered. Linux basics will be covered, like whatever we need for the DevOps. All of this will be covered. Shell
Okay,
scripting is covered. The basics of shell scripting, whatever needed is covered. And also I'll tell you where is it used, why you can't replace or why you can't replace the shell scripting, why you can't replace this with the tools also we will see. Tools are replacing this shell scripting. Shell scripting is now obsolete. Why and all also we'll discuss. I'll show you both of those things. But you need not get into shell scripting and learn it to the admin level. That's not needed for DevOps. And for this, you don't need any background of coding and all. No background of coding is needed for this. Yeah, by the way, one more thing. There is a separate WhatsApp group, a private WhatsApp group will be created, like I have just shown you. If you go here for your LMS, you have, okay, let me go back again. Beneath the video, you have a support, right? That's where once you click it, you will be joining a separate, this one, a separate private WhatsApp group, right? Where you can post the screenshots if you are stuck up with errors and all during your hands-on, so that will help you. I'll be there to answer those queries and help you guys if you are stuck up with during the hands-on through the private WhatsApp group. All the registered students will be moved to that private WhatsApp group.
AWS or DevOps first start class, madam? Process.
Come again, please.
Are you start first DevOps or AWS classes?
Yeah. One more thing is like here this course is not like first complete AWS, complete Linux, then DevOps kind of. Here it's about
Okay.
DevOps, and during this DevOps, these AWS Linux will be spread throughout the course. Means let's say, okay, I'm a DevOps guy, I'm just containerizing some application, right? Like developers are ready with the code and they have containerized, they have shared me that container, I want to deploy it. So means if I want to deploy it, I need an infra, right? That's where AWS comes in. So that's where I'll go out to AWS, spin up the infrastructure, then I'll use Terraform to automate it. This is how AWS will be. Not just sorry, please keep muted so that it avoids background noise for everyone. So coming back, yeah, so the AWS is spread throughout the course. Depending on the scenarios, we'll pick up the topics of AWS or Linux. Of course, Linux first will get started with some basics. So again, it's spread across. Same is the case with AWS. So it would be scenario-based learning, not a chapter-wise kind of, or not just because we have to cover the topic, we'll cover it. Hope you understood the point. And there's another question from Guru. One of my friends was into DevOps admin team, and he told me that he just monitor the things without breaking the pipelines that was integrated. If anything breakage will occur, he will fix. If so, if his job is just monitoring the pipeline and there's another team for development in real scenario, I'm a bit confused to it. Guru, like I told you, right, the team structure, the org structure, or else how the projects are functioning varies from project to project, company to company. Like I told you, yes, there is something like DevOps team who will build the pipelines from scratch. There is also a team which will monitor those pipelines and fix the pipelines if something is broken, right? Like you will have L1 support for DevOps pipelines, L2 support you will have, and you will have the people who will build the pipelines from scratch. Sometimes it is that in a development team, right, developers are there, right, they will create the pipelines themselves. Means that's the reason I'm telling developers should also learn it. So they'll create the pipelines by themselves, and there'll be a separate DevOps team who will fix the pipelines or who will create the infra. Maybe these developers will not create the infra, they will create the pipelines only, right? And those pipeline fixes should be done by DevOps team, and infra should be created by DevOps team using Kubernetes. I mean, high availability of application with Kubernetes, create the infra with Terraform. This would be handled by DevOps. So the org, the structure, the design depends and varies from project to project. Whatever it is, if you are thorough with the CI/CD pipeline, means developers are ready with the code, right? So it is built, continuous builds, then continuous testing, then continuous integration, and then like deploy it to some servers and then monitor it. If you know this whole process, you are eligible, you suits working in any of them. Fixing the pipelines is also not easy. It's a challenging task, right? Someone like developers have created the pipelines. You will have a lot of work there. Fixing the pipelines also have scope of learning and growth. Troubleshooting is very important for DevOps. Creating pipeline may be one-time task, but fixing the pipelines, modifying the pipelines, enhancing the pipelines, this would be a continuous task. So support will have always the work continuously. Creation may be a one-time job. Got it, Guru? So it's no worry about it. But when you are just using a certain tool of monitoring, if you want to explore and use other tools, yes, then you should choose a role where you have scope for creating the pipelines and all. It's about switching your, you choosing your role. In some companies, like I have worked in a company where DevOps team will do everything. Developers will not do anything. Developers will create the pipeline from scratch for developers, create the CI/CD pipeline, right? They will create the infra, right? They will also do monitoring. Everything is done by DevOps. I have seen these projects also, right? So here they'll be using Jenkins. They should know Jenkins, Docker, Kubernetes, right? They'll be monitoring as well using Prometheus and Grafana, whatever tools, right? There are some teams where developers will do the creation of the pipelines, DevOps teams will support it. So it's all, the whole point is you can choose the role into which you are interested into. Gaining expertise in these tools and technologies will give a good market. Any other questions you have? I believe I answered all the queries. Anything else? Any unanswered questions? You can feel free to put the query again. Okay, what is a GitHub? GitHub is an online management system. Anyway, tomorrow we'll be starting with Git. We'll get started with a hands-on. Like I said, every day, every minute will be utilized productively in the batch also. Like from tomorrow, we'll be getting started with Git. We will learn from the basics till the advanced concepts in Git. That's how we'll go ahead. The same will be applicable for any tool. Like I said, we'll zoom into each tool, we'll master it, then apply in the pipeline. So we'll be starting with Git tomorrow, and more details about how teams function and all also we'll be discussing tomorrow in the same perspective. Any other questions? Anything else you have, you can reach us on WhatsApp, right? You can message us on WhatsApp and you can call us directly. And that is all from my end for today. And hope you all are enrolled into the Syllabus. Have you all logged into the Syllabus? And by the way, this is the trend for DevOps from 2024. It's a rising and it's a booming up. You have to put your effort and get into switch your role when the market is good, like when you have demand for the particular technology. When compared with other tools and technology, DevOps is the one which is having good market. All right then. So that is all from my end. And sure, Rishi, you can call us on this number, right? You can call us on this number if you want to discuss anything one-on-one. You can give us a call. So, okay, there were a few more questions coming up. All right then. So that's all from my end. I think I answered those queries. Those are repetitive questions. I think I answered them. So anything else, please reach out on this number and we'll be happy to assist you.
Ma'am, which number?
This one, are you seeing this number on the WhatsApp?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, you can call us on this number, your WhatsApp, or you can call on the mobile.
Ma'am, you will available on this number, or Raj will available?
Raj will be available on this number, but if you want to connect with me, you can inform him. He can connect you with me.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Yes. All right then. Thank you all. Thank you all for joining on your Sunday, spending your valuable time with us. Thank you all. Have a good day. Happy Sunday, and see you all tomorrow. Bye, everyone. Thank you.
You too, ma'am.
Thank you.